Hello and welcome to the Trumped Up Podcast. I am your host, Keith Rao. This is Season 3, Episode 6, the 2020 Presidential Debate 1 Recap. And man, that was a fiery Royal Rumble ruckus last night that was going on there on the stage. We'll get into that in a moment, but first I gotta say we've had some exciting news to announce. We've had some record-breaking growth this past 14 days. The latest episode set a new record. It's approaching almost 750 plays. That's like unbelievable. Our last episode's top plays before that was roughly about 235 or 6 or so. So that's awesome. We're suddenly just jumped and growing. I don't know, the liberals and the crazy just blasted us. And that's where all the plays came from. But if it's all my supporters, I thank you, and it's great for tuning in, and I hope we can make this better as we go. Which takes me to the point of I always wonder what other people think, not just my opinion, because this podcast is a lot of my own opinion. I try to keep it slightly nonpartisan with, obviously, a pro-Trump approach, but I also try to point out when Republicans and the president do things wrong, because you can't hide these things and you need to get out there. But yeah, I always wonder what other people think about the show, and I'd love to hear from all of you out there. If you go to anchor.fm/trumped-up, you'll see a link over there, and you can send us a voice message, which a fellow podcaster, which doesn't normally listen to partisan politics, he said in his message. But yeah, we're going to listen to his message, and we'll hear his opinion of the Trumped Up Podcast and see if you agree. And if you'd like to share your opinion, that'd be great too.
Hey, Brother Keith, this is Eddie with TBD. It's a podcast thing. I thought I'd reach out to you. I'm usually not a huge fan of partisan politics. I saw your post on a Facebook group, and I was like, I'll check it out, and I was pleasantly surprised that you actually approached all your points with pretty solid information. It didn't come off very partisan at all, even though it's the Trumped Up Podcast. But I just wanted to say, for people in that niche, discussing that, it's a good group. I like talking about politics. I am a libertarian myself. But if you ever want to swapcast and talk about a topic or something to that effect, definitely let me know. I'm totally down. Hope you're having a good day. Take care. Bye.
Hey, you too can join the podcasting world and be one of the greatest podcasters out there. Build an audience, get sponsorships, earn money, and do many, many interesting things. You can also get listener support to help sponsor your show, all by using Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to become a podcaster. Anyone can do it. If you got something to say, or someone thinks you got something to say, or you just want to say something, come and join Anchor and join the podcasting revolution. Hello, and welcome back to the Trumped Up Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6, the 2020 Presidential Debate Number 1 Recap. Man, that was fired up last night. I haven't seen what the ratings are, but I'm sure they were sky high, at least for the first 20, 30 minutes of this thing. But, you could tell Trump actually was in the WWE before, because he knows how to trash talk, and he knows how to intimidate people. And if it wasn't for Chris Wallace, let's get into the moderator first of everything. One, Chris Wallace is biased as hell, and if it wasn't for Chris Wallace totally bailing out Joe Biden every time he was about to fall flat on his face, there would be no question that this debate was won by Donald Trump. But I just seen a poll, 66% of Telemundo Spanish-speaking viewers said Donald Trump actually won the debate last night. I agree, Donald Trump won the debate for many reasons. He not only beat Joe Biden, but he beat Chris Wallace, and that's after beating Hillary 4 years ago and 16 highly qualified Republican candidates. Sadly, I think even Hillary is a better candidate than Joe Biden would ever be. And then Joe Biden liked to take a lot of jabs last night, that's for sure. Like when he spit out that Donald Trump was the worst president in U.S. history, I think he's a little confused. His former boss, Barack Obama, was the worst president in U.S. history based on facts and policies and things they did during their administration, or refused to do, or didn't do, or they were too busy with the deep state trying to prevent Trump from getting elected and to cover up Hillary's email scandal, which never ever went away despite all the crazy treasonous acts the Department of Justice and the FBI took part in. That probably goes way farther than any of us know, and we're not really going to get into the deep state today because people call me a conspiracy theorist, but no, all the conspiracies are on the left. So the first subject of the debate came up was the Supreme Court. Obviously, this was going to be, because it's the issue of the day, it's now the number one issue in this campaign because the liberals are afraid that Justice Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett, Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court, is going to overturn Roe v. Wade. But in my opinion, now that this is the law, just like gay marriage is now legal constitutionally because of the Supreme Court, which is 100% okay, your personal beliefs are your choices, and who you love is your choice. Nobody has a problem with this in this day and age. The people that do and make little gay jokes on the internet still are like stuck in 1980s high school land. And you really should grow up, man, because people are people. And yes, there's a lot of gay and LGBTQ Trump supporters, whether the media likes to report this or not. Which takes you to these comments on the internet of, Trump's going to take your rights away. Trump hasn't taken anybody's human rights away. He hasn't taken their marriage rights. He hasn't taken anybody's rights away for anything except for causing chaos in the streets, which you don't have a right to. You have a right to protest peacefully. It's in the Constitution. Peaceful assembly. It doesn't even say protest. It says that you have the right to assemble peacefully. But what's going on in the streets of these Democrat-run cities is definitely not that. But Trump made his point that even Ginsburg agreed that the president is elected and he's president for 4 years, not 3 years and 9 months. And the Constitution states that if there's an opening for a Supreme Court justice, the president will appoint a justice to the opening. It doesn't say unless it's an election year. You know damn well if the Democrats were going to do this, they were in power, or like 4 years ago, if they would have had the Senate along with Obama, we'd have Judge Merrick Garland. But we don't, do we? No, because there's consequences to elections, like we went through in the last episode, that elections have consequences. Oh, and I'm totally sorry about that distraction. Sorry. That's never happened before because I don't usually have my phone here in the studio with me, but it's probably just the car warranty. People calling because they're always calling. Yes, your car warranty is about to expire. My car warranty expired long before I owned my car, so stop calling me. Really. Why are these calls even still allowed? Do they even get anybody's business besides the old people they scare into these things? Or like the fake Social Security message. Yeah, if you get one of those calls, do not even call the number back. Do not answer. It's not really the Social Security Administration. They will not call you on the phone. They will send you a letter in the mail if you have a problem with your Social Security issues. So yeah, Trump was, I'm the president for 4 years. Ginsburg agreed with me, and I'm going to pick a nominee. And of course, the Senate is going to approve the nominee because they have 51 votes, and that's the way it works. Even if they had 50, the vice president is the president of the Senate, and he comes in and makes a deciding vote. But that wouldn't look as good. Even Mitt Romney's on board because he understands about his religious liberties being a Mormon. And I don't think he would want people to take his religious rights away like they tried to do during this whole pandemic to people. I'm not very religious myself, but if you want to worship that's your right, and you should be able to go out and do it. And just like the people can go out and protest in the streets, because the same amendment, the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, guarantees you the right to peaceful assembly, free speech, free expression, which also would tell you that they can't legally tell you that you have to wear a mask because that doesn't allow you to freely express yourself. And Biden's whole point of the Supreme Court is the voters should have a choice in who's appointed to the Supreme Court. Well, Mr. Biden, 4 years ago, we elected Donald J. Trump president of the United States, and by us choosing him, we had a say in choosing who's going to be the next justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, just like the voters kept the Senate Republican majority. And now we're going to have a conservative justice, and the days of legislating from the bench are about to come to a crashing halt for Democrats, as well as there's going to be three. But yeah, that was his weak argument that the people should have a say, and the people already have a say. They have a say every 4 years, and you have a say. And November 3rd, go out and vote. And I recommend you do it. I was going to go out and vote early, and then I realized my state don't even count these until then the thing could get lost. And no, I'm going to go on the day of the election now, and I'm going to cast my vote in person. I'm going to look around to see if there's any funny business going on while I'm there, because it's my duty as a citizen to report if these things are happening. Which takes me to in the debate where they were talking about voter fraud like it doesn't exist, when in the last week I've seen like at least 20 examples of something going on in Philadelphia where they won't even let monitors in. I seen a mail postal carrier dumping ballots on the in a dumpster. There was ones in Pennsylvania that were invalidated, and they all had Trump name. There was 18,000 primary votes in Massachusetts that were deemed ineligible by the Democrat legislature and courts of the state. And the Republican primary contender that was eliminated in the primaries, Dr. V.A. Shiva, I believe that's how you say his name. Don't come harassing me if I didn't get it right. But apparently, I think his Facebook page stated there was like 1 million ballots that were invalidated. I don't know how true that is, but now they're trying to block him from saying these things on Twitter. This guy's a highly intelligent PhD person, and I'm sure he's not just creating conspiracy theories, but if he is, so be it. But there are plenty of examples of voter fraud, and of course the media, and Chris Wallace, who damn well knows because his own network has reported this, but you wonder why his ratings are what they are, and Hannity and Tucker and Laura Ingram's ratings are sky high, because they're not liberal fruitcakes, and they tell the truth, and they actually do more investigative journalism than Chris Wallace ever dreamed of doing. This guy needs to resign, dude. I'm really, after this performance, man, he's not part of it. He stated before the debate he wanted to remain invisible, and he was the personality that was the guy that was trying to take over the debate. You know, when he asked Trump if he wanted to switch seats, Trump should have said, sure, you come up here and I'll sit here, and I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of hostile questions and not let you answer them, just like you're doing. But no. Really, Chris Wallace should go with Shepard Smith over to CNBC or wherever the hell he went and live in his liberal fucking hell. Yeah, this episode's getting a little explicit because the guy is a piece of crap and he doesn't deserve to be on TV. You should put me on TV because I could be a little less biased than him, as you heard in the message, that, yeah, my podcast is a little partisan, but guess what? My points aren't. They're based on facts, reality, and things that are going on in the world. I don't give you the spin. I give you my opinion. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen. If you do like it, thanks for your support. It's all good. But yeah, my opinion is you should not watch Fox News Sunday ever again. Do not watch this. I don't watch it because there's better things to watch on Sunday. NASCAR race, despite their political stupidity. With that whole putting Black Lives Matter on the car and whatever, but they're the woke nation here. People, all these corporations, and they don't want to be canceled. And you know what? There's nothing you can do. Even these people that support cancel culture, You better watch it, because if you say the wrong damn thing that somebody doesn't like, you're going to be canceled. Like on the Facebook page yesterday, I know we're supposed to be getting a debate, but there's so many things going on in the world. I had some clown comments on something on the page, and all he said was, "We're watching you." So I looked at his profile, and it was all about Breonna Taylor and all the people that, and I'm like, oh, this is a Black Lives Matter guy or something. But the fact that "we're watching you," I took as a threat. I reported on Facebook for a terroristic threat or being a terrorist, which, they're never going to do anything about these people on the left. They'll let them say what they want in the vile crap. But you'll go to jail if you say something they don't agree with on Facebook. Not real jail, because they don't put people in real jail. Not in Democrat states anyway. I don't know what happened. It doesn't matter even if the police step up and start arresting people in record numbers, because the judges just let them back out in 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. Back in the day, man, if you had a joint roach, like the little clip of the fucking pot you smoked, then you freaking would have been in jail for 6 months to a year for this little clip of a freaking joint. But now in my state, you can go down the street and buy it legally. It's all good. But now you probably have 3 ounces, and they'll just send you on your merry way, because you can't have that much in public. But, yeah. So then Biden tried to keep going back to the COVID. There's 3 things Biden's stuck on. This damn mask thing that is ridiculous. I mean, he's a little, mask Nazi dude. We're going to come chain you to the wall if you don't wear a mask. Your stupid mandate's stupid, because guess what? It violates the Constitution, and every governor in the state, except for Ron DeSantis, who just removed those stupid requirements, all created their own mask mandate, so the federal government didn't need to do it. Each governor of every state, there are 50 individual states that operate differently because there's different reasons, and there was different amounts of cases. New York was sky high. California was sky high. At first, Massachusetts was, and we dropped out of the top 10. But, yeah. So the COVID, the mask, and identity, politics, and class warfare. If you're missing this, that's what the tell tax piece. Now, if you've seen the progression of that, it was a New York Times article. Within an hour, a campaign ad, which was the lamest campaign ad I've ever seen in history, about Trump paying $750 in taxes. But the reality of that, if you read farther into the article, Trump paid $24 million in the alternative minimum tax, a tax law created by Democrats, who was only supposed to benefit or affect a small number of people, and it actually affects millions and millions and millions of people, and they should just abolish this crap. Plus, Donald Trump pays tons of money in property taxes. He carried things over. He took credits, deductions, and Biden and his cronies wrote these laws to the point that he considers himself an S-Corp, which he obviously gets out of paying payroll and Social Security taxes by being an S-Corp, not a self-employed person, where the self-employment tax is roughly 33% or something. When I used to run an actual business, it was roughly 33% of my income every year. So the government was taking a third of what I would have earned. But the advantage for me is in the income bracket I was in, there was plenty of tax credits and tax breaks, and my tax liability said, hey, you paid this much in credits and deductions and tax breaks, when I didn't actually have to pay taxes. I took advantage of the tax law they created, but they created this law, and even some years I get a refund of money I didn't really give the government because it was credits, and really, you have to be a scientist to understand tax laws because they made them that stupid to benefit accountants, so accountants can get rich and you stay poor. But yeah, the whole tax thing, and then it was right in the debate he brings up the tax thing because it's all part of their DNC, media, and candidate collusion. They're all working together. The DNC comes up with these crazy ideas in some, I don't know, focus group. They must have focus grouped the stupid faces Biden was making. And like, they put a bunch of people in a room and put pictures down and say, which face is more appealing to you? And then the people pick one, so then the politician makes the stupid faces. But I read with Mark Levin there, this is the same stupid faces crap he was doing 8 years ago when he debated Paul Ryan in a vice presidential debate. The best line of the whole debate, by far, is I've done more in 47 months than you've done in 47 years. I love how also Trump brings out the Hunter took money from the Moscow mayor, and Biden just called him a liar, but he didn't deny the fact that Hunter got the money. And then he tried to stick up for his Hunter getting kicked out of the military for being a cokehead. Supposedly he's recovered, but who knows? Maybe Biden's doing some of his coke. It's just crazy. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we'll gather my thoughts up and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the Trumped Up Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6, the 2020 Presidential Debate 1 Recap. I am your host, Keith Rao. If you troll me on the internet, I will troll you back because I really don't care. But that's besides the point. It's irrelevant. I'm going to try to keep this little segment here at the end a little shorter. I mean, this episode's getting a little long-winded, but there's just so much going on, and there's so much in the world, and trying to keep it together and in a coordinated manner. And I'm not going to sit here and talk for 3 hours like Rush does every day. The guy's he's a superstar. I don't know how he does that every day, especially with what he's going through. We wish him well. We hope that his health improves, and then we hope he's back every day because his show does it justice. Unfortunately, in my area, it's now on FM radio as well as AM radio because you didn't used to hear talk radio except public radio on the FM dial, but now they're branching out, and you probably can hear the Rush Limbaugh show in many other places. Rush's opinion is quite interesting, and it's quite down to earth, and it's quite on the money quite often. So I haven't caught what he said about the debate last night, but it's all good. Now, they went into healthcare. Let's get into this first. Stop calling it healthcare. It's insurance reform. We have the greatest healthcare on the planet in America. This very debate was held at the Cleveland Clinic, one of the most premier medical facilities in the world. People travel around the world to go here. We do not have a healthcare problem. Granted, there could be some more innovation and incentives, but like these vaccines been developed at a record time. But it's insurance reformed, and it's really simple. All you got to do is Trump already signed the executive order to cover the pre-existing conditions, which made that point moot for the Democrats that keep trying to use this, and you missed it just because we have a lawsuit challenging Obamacare. There's now an executive order saying pre-existing conditions are mandatory coverage of them. So that took an issue right away from the Democrats, something else they've campaigned on, and the only thing they want to but Obamacare was an epic failure. They didn't fix healthcare, they broke it. They created a $10 billion broken website, and then in a lot of states, your choice is either Medicaid if you're low income, Medicare if you're like on disability or elderly, or Obamacare exchange, and you get one choice. This is your coverage, this is the price, this is the sky-high deductible, and these are the 3 doctors you can see that you probably won't like. Sorry, that's the way it is. And Biden said he doesn't want socialized medicine, but then he talked about a public option, and he's talking about Medicaid and Medicaid having a public option, but if you take my state, Medicaid is the public option. The public option is Medicaid is in Massachusetts is provided through Mass Health Program, the public option. This was created by Mitt Romney, of all people, a Republican, so-called Republican. We'll call him a rhino because he's not a true conservative Republican. Hence, he would have never got elected in Massachusetts, just like Charlie Faker, the present rhino governor we have here now. But I get it, he's got to deal with a lot of Democrats. But when Democrats are praising your Republican governor, you know he's not doing something right. But yeah, Biden wants to save Obamacare and expand this horrible failure of a program. They want to turn healthcare into the RMV. If you've ever been to the RMV, it's a long wait. There's all these stupid forms you got to fill out. Now you got to do all kinds of weird things on top of that because of this pandemic. And I mean, look at the driving. Parallel park. Look, if I can't parallel park, I'm going to go park somewhere else. Why do I have to take this on a driving test? How do you drive down the road? Do you follow the speed limit? Do you stop at a red light? Do you stop at a stop sign? Do you park in a crosswalk? Parallel parking is irrelevant. 3-point turn. Who does a 3-point turn, man? I don't do a 3-point turn. I go around the block. It's whippy. I burned 1 ounce more gasoline going around the block than do a 3-point turn. No, you didn't, because it takes just as long to do the stupid 3-point turn as it does to do the trip around the block. But yeah, so that whole healthcare thing is just a moot point. Just like this whole fake media battle for the Supreme, there's no battle. It's a foregone conclusion. Amy Coney Barrett will be confirmed to the United States Supreme Court of America. She will be the next Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. We'll have a conservative majority. And that's it. There's no battle. The Democrats can't do anything to stop it. Half of them aren't, like 6 of them already didn't even want to meet with Miss Barrett because they're throwing a fit, or they just know there's no point because they're not going to win. They're never going to win. They're not going to win this election, especially with, yeah, then we'll get into Wallace actually asked Biden about the Green New Deal and defunding the police. Biden just said that he's not for defunding the police, although he was for defunding the police. Then he said he's not for the Green New Deal, but on his website it says he's for the Green New Deal. But now he's for the Biden New Deal, which is just a slightly less expensive version of the Green New Deal. But if you don't support the Green New Deal and you don't support defunding the police, just like I seen Joe Concha saying this morning, which I said this myself last night, that you just lost the Bernie voters. My own son, who would have voted for Bernie and his socialist craziness, would have voted for Bernie. But now that Bernie is not in there, he is going to vote for Donald Trump, allegedly, according to him, because it's the lesser of two evils. Which that just tells you how bad of a candidate Joe Biden is. Hell, I think Hillary Clinton was far better a candidate than Joe Biden could ever be. But just like her campaign, these people are hiding. But after Trump called them out for his hiding last night, and the weird Trump's in the bunker of the sand thing on the golf course, and sure, Trump goes to his clubs occasionally on weekends, but in the last 2 weeks, I haven't seen him at any of his golf clubs golfing, period. Biden might want to take that back because nobody's golfed as much as Barack Obama did. But Biden was also highly disrespectful, as well as Chris Wallace, because calling the President of the United States, whether you like the person or not, a clown, man, telling him to shut up, is totally disrespectful. And Chris Wallace, his dumbass, should have pointed out to Biden that out of respect, you should address the President of the United States as President Trump or Mr. President, or not Donald, as you're laughing. And dude, it's high. That's just, the guy is the leader of the free world. Which takes me to Joe Biden said, "You're really something, man." And that was the perfect opportunity for Trump to jump in and hit back with, "Yeah, I'm the president. You're right. I'm something. Something you're not." And that would have been the ultimate one-liner. Sometimes I think I should have been the politician because I'm good with one-liners sometimes, and other times, I don't know. But I probably could have sent Joe Biden packing in a debate. And then they're like, the media is all like, this is the biggest debacle and the worst debate ever. And no, it's not. Sure, they interrupted and they talked loud and they kept talking over Chris Wallace, which, you know what, he was supposed to be invisible. So he should have shut up himself, but he didn't. Because, he's a media personality. He likes to listen to himself talk. Hey, I record this episode. I listen for quality right after, but I don't really listen to myself after I recorded the episode, except to make sure it all worked and it sounded good and the quality was there. Like, I can't edit out the phone that was ringing in the background. These things just happen, and I see it on the real media, so I'm not going to, lose sleep over it. It is what it is. But, yeah, it's just a joke. And if Chris Wallace didn't bail Biden out, he would have fell flat on his face. But you could just tell these were he had a plan the whole time, and he had to say what he had to say, and he just kept laughing. The laughing and the smugness and the pomposity and his groupthink and just calling the president a liar and a liar with no evidence, or spitting out some things that are supposedly facts that aren't facts. But if these fact checkers were fact checking the debate, Biden would have been 90% false, is my guess. But the media doesn't want to hear this stuff, so I'm running out of wind and I got other things to do this afternoon. So I thank you for tuning in to the Trumped Up Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6, 2020 Presidential Debate 1 Recap. Remember, you can catch the Trumped Up Podcast across a wide and growing wide variety of podcasting platforms. Remember, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. We're now on Amazon Podcasts. We're also on Google, radio.com, iHeartRadio. We're in all those major podcasting platforms. Catch us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Unfortunately, I don't really go on there too often because it's just a bunch of trolls and stupidity and the cancel culture. And why help these people on Twitter make money? And because I can just go to Parler and say what I gotta say over there. They're a competitor. Also, you can catch our videos of the podcast. We're slowly putting up the older ones to the newer ones onto Rumble. Rumble is like YouTube, but it doesn't require you to have 10,000 subscribers to monetize your videos. Remember, if you want to support our podcast, there is a link to support it. Also, we'd love to hear your opinion. We'd love to do a whole episode with the fans of the Trumped Up Podcast, views and opinions on the president, life, the world, the country, and what's going on. And we just want to throw in that Donald Trump also received a third Nobel Prize nomination, and I hope he gets all three of them. And Joe Biden still hasn't been nominated for one, period, because he hasn't done anything in 47 years to earn that. This has been the Trumped Up Podcast. I am Keith Rao, and I am out.